You use a remote hi-hat as your main hi-hat. You've got a pearl icon rack, but you only use it to mount a set list and a towel. Your hi-hat rod isn't even 8mm. You use your China cymbal upside down, so the rim's facing upwards and it damages your sticks and the edge all denty now. You don't know how the tilt control works on your hi-hat, and you use the adjusters for the top and bottom of the felt because you lost the main bit. Your cymbal toppers are DW, your felts are Meinl, and the sleeves are Stagg. It doesn't matter anyway because all your cymbals are covered in keyholes. Your Wingnuts don't match. Your cymbal felts are all different thicknesses and colours and brands. You put a Tama Starclassic floor tom on a snare drum stand and it was too high and then it fell over. You play hot rods on a set of pre-owned Zildjian L80s and they're all rusty. You put a rock and sock backrest on a pork pie drum throne. The springs in your double pedal are all different tensions and you don't know how to adjust them. The board on your DW9000 pedal is rusty. Your hi-hat stand has a floor plate, but your single kick pedal doesn't. You've got a Ludwig Speed King, but it's really squeaky. You've got one of those cymbal cases which you have to unscrew. And when you do, you take the cymbal out and it gets all scratched. And also, the way you pick up the foam circular dividers makes you look like a melt. You've got a Yamaha FP9 Beta, but it's facing the wrong way. You don't know the difference between maracas and castanets. You bought a Remo fiberskin drumhead and then broke it immediately. You got given Jack Daniels drumsticks for your birthday, and you still use them. Your floor tom legs are Tama, Pearl and IKEA. You play carbon fibre drumsticks. They leave marks all over your kit. You've got Evans EMADs as your resonant heads, but you took out the foam ring. You tech for a better drummer than you are, and you don't even know how to use a drum dial anyway. You've got a Rhythm Tech hi-hat clutch, and it tightens anti-clockwise. You bought a new drum rug, but it was too small, so it still slides away when you're on laminate flooring because you can't get all the legs of your throne on it. You play Sabian AAX instead of Zildjian A's because you don't know the alphabet. Your snare throw-off doesn't work properly because the wires are too tight, you installed them wrong, and you didn't loosen it enough. You've got MoonGel, a snare weight, a wallet, and duct tape on your snare, and some beads, and some jingle bells, and it all sounds rubbish. You like to think because you can play a shuffle with Gladstone technique that anybody in your wedding band actually cares. Your A-head drumstick case is full of pasta, and you lost one of the black rubber ends, so it doesn't even stay in. You take ages to sound check, and when you start, everyone stares at you because it's too loud. You installed 2.3mm hoops on the top and die-cast hoops on the bottom because you don't know what you're doing. You think the drummers on Britain's Got Talent are fine, but you could do better if you applied, but you wouldn't. Your Tama Dynasync is out of sync. You bought a drum DVD, which was in the wrong region. You got a set of Evans UV1 drum heads, but the logo peeled off. Your timpani gauges are all wrong. You took a Porter and Davis drum throne to work because you liked the feeling. Your DW9700 boom tilter wasn't anywhere near as good as you were expecting. You spent ages queuing up to meet Steve Gadd. You got him to sign your DVD, and when you got home, you realised that the autograph had rubbed off because you used the wrong sort of pen. You have a big fat snare on top of a piccolo, and it's the wrong size. All of the drum DVDs that you've got in your collection are all available on YouTube for free. You put a TRX Splash underneath the Dream Bliss, and it's sounding fine. You bought a DVD for lessons, but it's mostly live performances. You tried to sell the belt from a Pearl Eliminator on LinkedIn. You've got a drinks holder on your hi-hat stand. You put an Aquarian Super Kick on top of your cajon so you just sit on it. You've got one of those posters in your spare room that says, Drummer Zone, keep out. You put Meinl Drum Honey all over your pasty colour sounds. You use drummer gloves and a headset. And when you play, you don't sound like Tommy Lee, and you can't sing, so you're talking to nobody. You've got a Ludwig Acrylite, but you can't get the cross stick to sound any good. You bought an audio interface, but it doesn't have enough inputs, so you put one mic between two toms. You set a KickBlock on a single carpet tile, and it's not attached to anything. You use A-head drumsticks with the gloves, and you still keep them in the box that it came with. The logo on your bass drum head is the barcode from the box of a Remo Ambassador 18-inch kick. Your floor tom's got mismatched legs. You don't know how to use memory locks. Just before you were about to start the gig, you spilt your cider and black all over your drum rug and your hardware, so it's now all sticky, and you've got to wait to the end of the set before you can clean it. You mounted a Dixon cymbal arm to a hard case. The bit between the rim and the head on all of your toms have got crumbs and dust in them. Your roto-toms didn't even get Wi-Fi. Your kick drum has got a tom mount hole, but you've got your first tom on a boom stand, so the hole is there for no reason, and you can't even put another cymbal stand in it because it won't fit. You use Los Cabos red hickory drumsticks just to stir your bovril between sets. You play in bare feet, sometimes with socks, and you don't know how to use your hi-hat foot pedal properly because you can't splash it. You got a Yamaha recording custom and never recorded it, or played it on stage. The ghost note in your flams is louder than the primary stroke. You mounted a tambourine on your bass drum hoop, and now every time you play the kick, it sounds like Christmas. Your dad posts on Premier Drum forums. Both of your snares are piccolos, both of them are gated, and both of them are bigger than 14 inches. You still got your first CB black drum kit, but the floor tom is red for some reason. You keep all of your old drum heads and reuse them. You bought a Veta cymbal sizzler, but when you got it, you noticed that the picture from the website was different and had a different amount of beads, and you just have to live with it. Your DW magnetic throw-off is stuck on your fridge. You use grip tape, sex wax, and drummer gloves when you're playing congas. You thought you were being really clever because you got a 3D printer to make your cymbal sleeves, but when you got to the gig, they broke. You really like kettle drums, but you hate timpani. You put silent stroke heads on a marching snare. You use timpani beaters on suspended cymbal and vibraphone mallets when you're playing temple blocks. Your toms have got Evans hydraulics on them, but they're all different colours. You bought an angled cajon with an ebony front plate, and all the wires are all loose, so it just sounds like a big box, and you think the jingle bells in it sound good. You tried to keep your Vic First sticks together with zip ties, but then they all fell out. You bought a brick of drumsticks so you could look endorsed when you posted on the gram, but when they arrived, they weren't covered in the shrink wrap and you were really disappointed. You've got a Roland TD-17 just to trigger a cowbell sound when you already have a cowbell on your kit. You paid for a brick of drumsticks so you could post on the gram saying you're endorsed and thank all the stick suppliers, but when you actually got them, you realised it was a bundle of sticks and they weren't even shrink wrapped, so you were really disappointed. You use RT30 drum triggers on your roto-toms, they don't even fit, so they fall off. You bought an LP Ridge Rider cowbell, but not a mount for it, so you put it on your hi-hat stand and it kept tilting to the left because it was so heavy, so the thread on your hi-hat rod kept loosening, and also it got in the way. You've got Vic Firth drummer headphones, but sound only comes out of one ear. You don't use the cymbal dividers in your cymbal case properly. You play Truth and SJC drums, and your rack tom is mounted way too low on that snare drum stand. You once took two 16-inch crashers and put them on your hi-hat and thought, oh, that looks cool. It really didn't. You've got a Gretsch Catalina drum kit, but you've got the 8-inch tom on the right of your floor tom. You mounted a Wuhan China on a Ludwig Atlas mount, and then you changed it to a TRX Splash, but then you lost it. You posted a pic of your kit on Facebook with a caption that said, another day at the office. The hi-hat on your electric kit isn't working properly, not because it's faulty, but because you don't know how to set the calibration. You didn't buy Roland, you didn't buy Yamaha, you didn't buy Alesis, you didn't buy ATV. You tried to buy a Simmons online, but you got scammed. You keep your A-head drumsticks in the plastic tube that they came with. You don't like Evans, you don't like Remo, you don't like Aquarian, you don't like Code, you don't like Roland Power Strokes, you don't like Silent Strokes by Remo, so you've just kept the stock heads that came with your first drum kit and you think they sound okay. They're really dirty and they need cleaning. You still keep your A-head drumsticks in the plastic case that they came with. You've kept every single broken drumstick you've ever owned, so your stick bag is overflowing and it won't shut properly. You paid loads of money for custom in-ear monitors and then you lost one of them. You had a tune bot on your drum, but you still tuned it by ear. You changed the lugs before you changed the heads on your kit. Every time you comment on a snare drum that you see, you say, that definitely cuts through the mix. You think Mike Mangini's toms are too high up. You and your drummer mates ruined drumming for the rest of us drummers. You think VSTs are better than the sounds on a drum module. You like the new Sabian logo. One time you were playing at the beach and it was so windy and your China cymbal got blown over by the wind. You'd love to have a go in Terry Bozzio's kit. You've got no cymbals, but 4 Zil-Bels. You like Peisty 101s and Sabian B8s, but you don't like Zildjian ZBTs. Your kit is so big that you couldn't even fit it in your car, and even if it wasn't too big for your car, you don't have a car. You leave advice comments on the YouTube channels of Casey Cooper and Cobus. You spent ages hating on electronic drum kits, but now you own one and you think it's really good. You entered a competition for Modern Drummer magazine, and you didn't win, and they didn't even get back to you. All your cymbals are at different heights and it looks funny. You think that North drums are weird, but also you think they sound kind of cool, but you can't afford them anyway. You spent money on a pedal-mounted cabasa, but when you got to the gig, no one could hear it. You spent ages hunting down Remo spokes, finally got one on your kit and didn't know what to do with them. One time you were playing a gig and one of the floor tom legs got loose, so your floor tom went at an angle and it fell over, and you tried to correct it with your right foot, but you couldn't, so you had to wait to the end of the song. You picked up your snare by the tube lugs and one of them came off and it broke your snare, so you tried to fix it but you couldn't because it was irreversible damage to the shell. You went to the UK drum show on the wrong day. You went to a drum clinic and wanted to ask a question, but you didn't. You've got an offset double pedal and you think it's really cool. You can't read music, but you can read drum tabs. You still use the cymbal bag that came with your ZBT. You have 2 bass drums with 2 Sonar giant step pedals, and you can't even play doubles. You bought a Firecracker snare drum by Pearl, but you didn't have a stand for it. You thought aero drums looked like a good idea. You can't get endorsed by Collision drumsticks. You spent all your money on a Thunder sheet, you mounted it to a stand, then it fell over and it cut your arm. You go online and say why Lars Ulrich is a bad drummer. When people say to you, "Oh, I'll play the triangle at the back," you laugh unironically. You bought Meinl Byzant's extra dry for the wash. You can't afford an SPDSX. You got an Alesis Strike Pro, but it started mistriggering. You velcroed a drum dial to your ride bell. You've got a trap tray with a towel on it, and the towel stinks. You've got a tambourine on your Wuhan Splash. Your drum rug is covered in sawdust, but not from drumsticks. The legs on your floor tom are all 3 different heights, on purpose. You use an EAD 10 for the front of house. You can't play any of the backing tracks on a Roland TD9. Your drumsticks are made out of clay. You pronounce pasty cymbals as paste. Your dad used to be in a band. Your first instrument was the bass. The bow on your ride is really boring, and the bell's covered in dents. The seat and the stand on your drum frame don't match. One of your drumsticks is wood tip and the other one is nylon. You bought that new Evans drum key, but you don't have any new heads, so it's pointless. You've got Vic Firth drummer headphones, but only one of the speakers is working. You've got more drums on your kit than you do cymbals. You don't know what triple flanged hoops are.